Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast, season 2, about winning. My name is Ben Kinney, joined with Bob Stewart and Chad Himes. Hello?
We're here.
We're here. You just seem to be on a roll.
Oh, that makes more sense now. Hey, if you just listened to the last episode, once again, we would like to apologize for that for that dumpster fire of an episode. It was about creating a roadmap for winning.
And if they haven't listened, you know they're absolutely going back now and listening to that dumpster fire.
What a fiasco. What a fiasco. But once you start winning, one of the last words that we used was abundance.
Yeah.
And when you have an abundance of something, you can actually use it to do good, to create a legacy.
Yep.
Now, what is something, Bob Stewart, that we could have an abundance of?
Money?
Money. We could have extra money. Chad, what is something else that we could have an abundant amount of?
Time.
We build our business or our lives in such a way that we have an extra day a week that we could do something with.
Yep.
Now, at Win, Make, Give, we like to do
Giving.
good, Chad.
Do good?
We do good.
Yeah,
you say it at the end of every
said that
Single
one,
show
so-
with it. Come on.
What
I
else
saved
could-
that to the end.
We could have an abundance of energy,
Yes.
right? I right now have an abundance of Diet Coke because one of our friends of the podcast from Cantrell Outdoors, he brought a gigantic pallet of Diet Cokes to the office. I don't know, there must have been 2,000 of them in there.
There's 1,500 of them in this room with us right now.
I have an abundant amount of Diet Coke, everybody. If you need some Diet Coke and you're anywhere close to Bellingham, Washington, give me a call.
I'm still working my way through the banana runs from season 1.
Ooh, we do have an abundance of banana runs. Well, today's episode is about how to win through giving.
Yes.
How to win through giving. Now, giving's this weird thing because you might be sitting back here and say, well, I can't give enough because I don't have enough. I don't have a ton, or I don't have money. But I want to kind of walk through this roadmap that one of my dear friends and I, Jay Papazan, we kind of gave a roadmap to giving.
Yep.
A lot of roadmaps lately. So I'm going to walk through this. And if you have nothing to give at all, what you could give is just your gratitude. You could use your words to make an impact on somebody by just saying, you know what, Chad, I appreciate you. You know, Chad, whenever you're around, I feel happier, I have more energy, I feel more motivated. Bob, you're a beautiful, sexy hunk of a man. You could give somebody a compliment.
Ooh,
Wait a
you see
minute.
me sit up? I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah,
over
I'm
here.
giving it away right now, man. Number one, you could simply just give your words. You could give gratitude.
You know, Ben, gratitude's one of those things that you put on the 15-point plan to help create better health, better energy. We did an episode just talking about gratitude. It was episode 11 for everybody that wants to jump on over and check out 15-point plan, which they can find at 15pointplan.com.
Oh, perfect pitch.
There you
Insert
go.
commercial, non-paying commercial.
That's right.
A couple of a year ago, maybe I had 2 years ago now. I came across the son of my 5th grade teacher, and my 5th grade teacher, like in many ways, I credit this lady with like changing the trajectory of my life. But I hadn't seen her since 6th grade. She was actually my 5th and 6th grade teacher. I wrote her a letter.
Is that because you repeated the 5th grade?
No,
Bob?
we had a split class, Chad. Don't be. But I wrote her a letter, right? Like she had made such an impact on me that 30 years later, I felt like I needed to express my gratitude to this lady, right? And I don't know how she does financially or what else I could have done, right, to give to this person who gave so much to me. But for that particular scenario, it was gratitude.
But there's a lot of people out there who aren't financially in a position to give of the money, or they're up to their eyeballs in debt and busy and running around. You can always find time to give gratitude, is what you're saying, as that first step on that ladder.
Yeah, just, what's the old saying? Like, leave the world a better place than how you found it, right? Leave every interaction with somebody a little better off than before, right? Whether that's a compliment or gratitude, etc. Number 2 in the roadmap to giving, gentlemen, we can give our time.
Yes.
We can volunteer. We can coach. We can mentor. last Friday, I had a great individual that said, hey, would you meet with me and talk to me about investing in real estate? He had just bought his first fourplex in Bellingham, Washington, and has another rental property. And so he's on the path of being a real estate investor. So he came over and spent an hour with me at the office, and I helped him on a plan and talked about his vision for his life a little bit. And I gave him a couple of books for him to leave with, and I gave him my time. I didn't charge him. I didn't ask for anything. I wasn't selling him anything. I just simply gave him my time because he asked. Well, the next morning, funny enough, he sends me a message, says, hey, what's your address? I'm like, why? Are you bombing me? He's like, no, I made you a pie. And he made me an apple pie.
Aww.
I would open up my schedule for any of you listeners if you'd be willing to make me an apple pie.
Oh, gosh. All the requests are coming in somewhere. I don't want to know where
We're going to have 1,200 apple pies at the office now. Great.
Give your time.
Yes.
Right. In some way. To coach, to mentor, to volunteer, to dig a hole, to fix something, to pick up your neighbor's garbage, whatever that might be.
I'm trying to look. I know what your list is, and I've maybe in some way done all of these different things. That one actually might be the most fulfilling, giving your time.
I think for me, it's actually one of the hardest things to give.
Yes.
It'd be easy for me to say, yeah, here's $1,000 to go away, right? It'd be harder for me to say, here's an hour. And I just mean because there's so many demands in our lives right now for all of us. Like, this can be hard. So when somebody shows up and they give your time, you should really be grateful for that. But if you don't have money to give, that's a way that you can contribute and help in the world. Number 3, you can give money away.
Right.
Now, it doesn't have to be a lot. I talk to people all the time and say, you know what I really want to do is I want to make a lot of money so I can help solve hunger or homelessness. I said, that's awesome. How much did you give away last year? Well, none, because I'm not making enough money. So when are you going to do that? When I'm making a lot of money. Oh, so you're going to wait. So like, it's fine for you. Like, you truly care about hunger and you don't want kids to starve, but you're okay if they starve until you make a lot of money. And they laugh and they say, well, what should I do? Why don't you give $10? When I first started giving, I gave $25 away on every sale that I made. And as a percentage of income you make back then it was the sale of real estate, right? It wasn't a lot, but you wake up years later and you're selling hundreds or thousands of properties, it actually does add up to a massive amount. So give a little until you could give a lot.
Okay.
Number 4, the fourth thing that you can give, and especially if you're listening to this podcast, there are organizations, nonprofits, groups, children's schools that if you have a unique skill set, that they need it. I call it giving your leadership. But if you're an accountant, there's people out there that need accounting help in their nonprofit, and it would actually be more valuable to them than you stocking the cupboards with canned food at the food bank. They actually need your skill set accounting because it costs them so much money to hire a tax person or an accountant.
Right. So that's different than time because it's actually a leadership. It's a skill you have. It's not just saying, hey, I can give you an hour to do whatever you need. This is saying, this is what I do really well. Let me do it for you.
Well, here's a good example. Local nonprofits that we love, they could say, hey, do you want to come volunteer? Absolutely. And I could go dig a hole just like anybody.
Right.
But if I wanted to make the most amount of impact with my time invested, it would actually probably be strategizing with them how to raise a lot of money. I have the network. I know people. I'm decent at sales. I could make them $10,000 or $100,000 in my time compared to me digging a hole.
And someone else, myself, for example, with my skill set, I might be able to get into that same organization and help energize and inspire the people to get more done in the amount of time that we have with our volunteers, because that might be in my skill set that I'm giving of the leadership. So that's going to be each of us having something special that we can provide.
Bob, you actually might just be better just digging a hole.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's a shovel, Bob.
You hear this, Dave? You gonna let them talk to me like this? Cut their mics, Dave.
Number 5, the ultimate level of giving in my mind. And when you look at all the money that our organizations and our podcast and our trainings and all the things that we do, all the money that we give away, it's going to be insignificant to level 5 giving. And level 5 giving is when you teach others to give. By saying, Chad said, Hey, I really want to support the food bank. Do you want to donate to the food bank? Sure. I'll match whatever you're willing to give.
Right.
Right? Or teaching people how to give, teaching people to have the experience of feeling like how good it is to help or to do something. It's really, really powerful. I remember the first time I experienced this, I donated some money back to scholarships to the high school that I graduated from. And I went back there one year and I gave away a couple of $500, weren't large, $500, $1,000 scholarships to kids that had graduated from the same school as me. And I gave it away and I felt awesome. And when I was leaving, I'm like, gosh, I wish I would have gave away more money. Like I wish I would have had an extra $500 so one other kid could have a semester at community college or whatever that might be, which I don't know how much college is right now, but that probably ages me a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the next year I said, you know what? I'm going to give away double the amount. And I graduated with a buddy, and I took him down to the school with me, and I said, hey, come with me. We're going to the scholarship thing. We're going to give away some money, some people. So I said, hey, I'm going to have you give away the second one. He said, okay, what do I need to say? I said, here's what you're going to say. So I gave away the thing, and I said, hey, and the next person coming up here, he's really awesome. He graduated from here too, and he wanted to make a difference. So he also donated the money to give away for this particular scholarship. And he's going to come up right now and he's going to give it away. Now, he hadn't done that. He hadn't agreed to do that, right? And honestly, he didn't have the money to do it. So he went up there and he gave it away. And we were driving home. He said, that felt freaking awesome. I'm like, what part? He's like, I went there. And these kids in the same position I was, a handful of years ago. And it felt awesome. I said, well, so what are you going to do about it? He's like, next year, I'm going to give away my own money. That's great. So not only was I able to continue to maintain giving away that same amount of money, Bob, I just taught another person to give away a large chunk of money.
That's awesome.
And he did. The amount of money that we can give away in our life is actually going to be insignificant to the amount of money that could be generated if we invested time teaching others to give. Now, let's take a break here for the Win, Make, Give podcast season 2 update.
Mm-hmm.
Most podcasts have commercials.
Yes.
Go here, down like this. Use the keyword Ben to save 10% on your sign up, right?
Yes.
We don't get paid crap to do this. We don't have advertisers.
No, absolutely. We get paid crap to do this.
Exactly. We don't have advertisers.
Nope.
We're not selling stuff. We're not trying to upgrade.
Nope.
When we do live events, we give the money from those live events away to charity.
Right.
And the last time we did the Well series, we gave away tens of thousands of dollars just to you listeners so that you could start investing and buying stocks and doing that stuff. So this podcast is a gigantic freaking drain on our finances and our lives is basically my point. So we had an idea.
Yes, because it's called Win, Make, Give.
Win, make, give,
Yes.
right? It's not just win and make.
Nope.
It's not just about, hey, how do you win all the time and make a ton of money?
Right.
We added a third word, which is
Give.
give. So here's the idea. In season 2,
Mm-hmm.
for every listen that we get,
Yes.
we're going to give away a little piece of money.
Mm.
And by the end of season 2, it will equate to a minimum of $100,000. $100,000 that we're going to give away, mostly out of Bob's pocket, with his wife's permission. And
Do I have an extra pocket you guys want to tell me about? Like,
we're going to give away a minimum of $100,000, not to a charity we care about,
Nope.
but to a charity you care about. You, audience, I'm talking to you. Stop what you're doing. I was just talking to you. And you guys get to choose who we give it to. So every episode, Chad, there's going to be a different
Charity that we're donating to.
that we give to.
Yes.
We're going to give the podcast about 30 days. At the end of 30 days, we're going to count up all those listeners from all the different channels, no matter where you listen.
Correct.
And then we're going to write a check and we're going to give away that money.
Yes.
So how do they choose a charity that we're going to give to?
You join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/win-make-give, because once a month, I'm going to be asking you for the charities that you want to nominate for the next month. And then we'll just go through the list and we'll be selecting the charities, and we will announce as we drop every episode which charity that episode will be donating money to. And we'll hope that you are sharing these episodes with everybody. We'll hope you're listening. We'll hope you're making sure everybody that you know is listening Because as Ben just made the commitment, our goal is to give away over $100,000 from season 2 listens.
Now, the first person who stepped up and gave us a suggestion, she chose an organization, I believe, called Patriot Hunts.
Correct.
And I think she said that she'd be willing to match our donation up to a certain amount. So if we're talking about this model of giving, we actually are kind of teaching others how to give because we came up with the idea and she loves that organization. She already gives to it, right?
Yep.
And then we get to go back and we get to, she's going to match it. We're going to donate some money.
Correct. We're going to challenge each and every one of you, if you can, if it's your charity we select, match our donation. If not, that's okay. We're still going to give to the charities that you're choosing out there.
And if you can't match it, give your gratitude. Donate some time to the organization that you say is important to you. Give your money, give your leadership, teach others to give to it. Let's work together. Here's why. Giving is winning. Giving gives us purpose. It gives us purpose to live. It gives us purpose to push harder. It gives us the reason past just more money. There's a certain amount of money out there that you're going to say, you know what, it's enough is enough, and you're going to stop pushing. And maybe this will get you to push a little bit harder so you can help your employees or help the community or help the world. Now, one way that people do that is by creating their own foundation. So I want to talk about creating your own nonprofit and the reasons you should do it and the reasons you shouldn't. Number one reason why you shouldn't is that other people do it better than you.
Right.
Other people manage nonprofits better than you. And unless you're giving a massive amount of money away, it's probably better that you let other people do that because just simply you have to create the 501c3 corporation. You got to have somebody do the specialized taxes. You got to create your minutes and bylaws. You got to create bank accounts. You got to receive the money appropriately so you don't go to prison for money laundering. There's all these things that you have to do, and that could eat up a bunch of your donations. So don't just go create a nonprofit or a foundation because of your ego. Create a cause that inspires you. Donate money to somebody else who's doing that. And then once it gets big enough, then create your foundation. That makes sense to everybody. Now, when you're creating a foundation, I want you to ask yourselves a couple of questions. Foundation, or you're choosing a cause. And this could help you decide how do you want to win through giving. Number one, make a list of causes that you deeply care about. I'm passionate, gentlemen, about two things: hunger and homelessness. I don't think anybody deserves to be hungry, and I think everybody deserves to have a home, somewhere to stay warm and to be safe. Now, I'm particularly interested in making sure that no children are left hungry or homeless. That's the thing that I deeply care about. So if you see us creating causes or raising money, I promise you it's probably going to organizations like Lydia Place that really helps women with children get out of homelessness situations, or a food bank, or an organization that we created called A Place for Dads, where we help dads who are with children get into some form of housing so they could get back on their feet. Take this list, just brainstorm. What is it that I care about? Step two, circle the top three. The ones that really stand out, and then write them down on a separate piece of paper. Because the next step, what I want you to do for these three causes that you identified that you guys care about, I want you to write a paragraph about why it's personal and important to you.
Okay, so Ben, let me make sure we're all getting this right. First, take a piece of paper and just brain dump. What are those things that I care about deeply that move me? And I'll put Bob on the spot in a few moments here. Okay, then you're going to tell me to circle the top three to jump off the page, but each one gets its own page, because then you're challenging me to write a paragraph about why those are important. Okay, what do I do once I've written the paragraph now and figured out why those causes really matter?
I want you to ask another question to each one of those causes. If money, time, and other resources were not an issue, what would you do to improve that situation or to help those causes? If money and time or other resources were not an issue, What would you do to improve or help those causes? Then I want you to pick the one that's most personal and important to you, and that's probably the most possible. Like, here be an example. We could be extremely passionate about the environment,
Right.
and we don't want to see the world overheat, and we're afraid of global warming.
Sure.
But we sit back and say, I don't know today, with the money and influence and audience I have, if I can make a huge impact. We can recycle and we can do little things, but we're not going to change the world. Well, you might be able to come back and narrow it down to, you know what, one thing in our community that I could do is I could plant more trees. Because I know if there's more trees, that it would eat up CO2 and it would help the environment, it would create more oxygen, it would help. So in my town, my neighborhood, I'm going to make sure that there's more trees planted than anywhere else. That could be the one step down that you start with. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
The next step is I want you to write a mission statement. A mission statement is meant to be a public-facing statement that clearly explains your purpose. It's why you're going to make extra money. It's why you're going to free up your time. It's why you're going to rally your friends and neighbors to contribute. Go out there and look at some of the mission statements of the Humane Society or the Smithsonian or the Wounded Warrior Project or Lydia Place or your local food bank or any other
PBS.
any other organizations, nonprofits that stand out to you. Feeding America, National MS Society, Habitat for Humanity, Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Nature Conservancy, the Wild Sheep Organization, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, whatever you're into, whatever you care about.
Rocky Mountain Elk?
Yeah, they help restore the habitat and protect the survivability of the species Rocky Mountain elk. Interesting, huh?
You just found something Bob was interested in.
You know who might have started that is our guy we interviewed
Chad
last
Hames.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So the next step is start brainstorming a name. What would you call it? This is our kind of our operational checklist. What would you call it? Where would it operate? Your neighborhood, your city, your town, your state, the world.
Sure. So using your example, maybe I'm Tree a Day is what I've just named it, and I'm operating here in town.
Pretty good, actually.
That just came to me, right?
Yeah,
so we're going to plant a tree a day.
Tree a day.
Yeah.
Great. So then you would ask yourself the question, how are you going to fund it?
All right. So I'm going to fund it by X percentage of my sales that I do, or I'm going to fund it by charity drives, or I'm going to fund it on a door-to-door campaign.
Yeah, you're going to brainstorm.
Okay.
But you're also going to kind of go back and say, well, how much would it actually cost to do a tree a day? Right? Maybe your first step is I'm going to go out there and find 30 people that are willing to do a tree a month.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And you might say that that is actually $50. And with $50, you can have it dug, purchased, and taken care of.
Right.
Right? Maybe that's your first step. And then over time, it might be getting people that are willing to do a tree a day, every month. So you have 30 people doing 30 trees a day.
You'd have to change your name, though. Then you become like 30 trees a day.
No, it's still a tree a day. You're a tree a day.
Oh,
you're a tree a day.
Oh.
Everyone gets a tree a day.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then when are you going to start and what are you going to start with? Here's the thing. Planting one tree next month is better than not planting any trees at all. Giving $1 next month is better than not giving any money at all. Helping one kid have a lunch next month is better than feeding no kids. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Then if you get to the point where you believe and you've proven that this could truly be something big and you want to create your own 501c3, you'll go through the official process of doing that, which is you choose your name, you're going to file your articles of incorporation, you're going to apply for your IRS tax exemption status, you're going to apply for a state tax exemption status if you have a state income tax, you're going to work with an attorney or an online organization to help you draft your bylaws. You're going to find your directors, the people that are contribute and sit on your board. You're going to hold your first board meeting. You're going to obtain any licenses and permits. And then you're going to start the marketing and promotion of your organization for number 9. And number 10, you're going to start raising money and going out there and doing good. If you can't do anything, ladies and gentlemen, you're just in the wrong mindset, because you actually can. You can start by giving gratitude, giving your time, giving your money, giving your leadership, teaching others to give. And at some point, maybe you can create a real big legacy by creating a nonprofit or supporting an existing one that you truly care about.
Yeah. And Ben, St. Francis said, "For it is in giving that we receive." So folks, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/winmakegive, so you can be there and nominate a charity. You can be there and get involved in the conversation as we look in season 2 to give away more than $100,000 to charity. We hope you'll share this episode with as many people as possible so you can help us help others. And until our next episode, remember, do good.